What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I wanted to talk about the factors or like what was going on up here when I decided to go into finance. Like the mindset I was in when I went in to choose what I decided to do, and I don't think there's a lot of thought put into that. But before I do that, make sure you press that red button that says subscribe, and there's that bell notification. Just gently tap that bell notification with your noggin. Just gently tap that shit. Don't break your phone screen. But if you do, send me a picture. That'd be pretty funny. So to give you a little bit of context, I grew up in a family of 7 kids. Yes, I said that right. 7 kids. So there was 9 people in the house, and I'm left-handed, so I always had to sit I write with my right, but I eat with my left. So at the dinner table, I always had to sit on the side where my elbow wouldn't bump into somebody who was right-handed, because if that happened with my brothers, oh man, we were throwing down. Just kidding, but we would definitely get into arguments about it. So anyways, I grew up in a family of 7 kids, and part of that was that I would say we were middle class-ish. And I wouldn't say that I was lacking anything I needed growing up. But there was things that I wanted that I did not get to purchase because I didn't have any money. And I think that potentially had some type of influence in later years. Also, to just give more context, I was homeschooled, right? So you have 7. I had 7. There's 7 kids in my family. I have 3 brothers and sisters, and I was homeschooled K through 12. So kindergarten through 12th grade, I was homeschooled, and that was truly amazing experience. But looking back at it and putting myself in that moment, right now with the knowledge of experience, right? I see the value in that, and how it's one of my such a great asset to have. I think adversity is actually assets. If you just reframe that up here, I think adversity is a tremendous asset. So that at the time when I was going through it, I would talk to friends and they would be playing sports. I wanted to play sports. Or I would be talking to friends and they would talk about things, and I would have literally no fucking idea what they were talking about. So I felt at the time that I was missing out, right? Like, I'm homeschooled, but I'm not learning the same things that these kids are learning. Like, I felt like I wasn't learning. Like, what is I'm not accomplishing, right? So it put my mindset, it influenced it in a way that affected me years and years, and still is today. And I want to talk about that. Another thing that had a big impact was we had this Nautilus, which is a piece of gym equipment. It was an all-in-one, so it's just like one piece of equipment that has different stations all the way around it in like a 360 type thing, so you can kind of get a workout all the way around the piece of equipment. And that was in our basement. My dad would go down there and work out, and I wasn't allowed to use that. But I would go down there and I would sit on the stairs and I would watch him work out. And then when I was and I was fascinated with fitness even before that, because I have 3 brothers. We would have like push-up contests or pull-up contests. I mean, it helps being the oldest boy and you're the biggest, but that definitely was not even a factor. It was just because I was stronger. Of course, we all know that. So that played a tremendous influence on me, because I was in fitness with my brothers. We'd have races, we'd do push-ups, we'd do all this kind of stuff. Who could hit like the ball further and just that kind of thing. And all of those things played an influential part in me choosing what I wanted to do. And when I finished, right, I actually went to a 2-year school for 3 years, right? Because I'm special, right? I get to wear a helmet, bro. What's up? But I don't have a diploma, right, from high school. So the first year was the foundational stuff, and then went into other stuff. So the first year was primarily foundational stuff with a little bit of other things. But going into it, I had decided that I liked fitness a lot because there was a big portion at that age. 17. I think I started at 17. So no, I know I started at 17, and fitness was a big part. I was going to the gym all the time, and I was really focused on that. And I didn't want to be a personal trainer because I saw the trainers at the gym, and I had conversations with them, and I just didn't, first of all, feel that they were like providing a ton of value. So I was like, I don't see that as like something that's useful, you know? And second was that I didn't think that, first of all, I don't know if this is like intuition or where it came from, or maybe somebody told me or something, but I mean, I didn't think it was providing a lot of value, and I didn't think that they would make a lot of money, right? Like $20 an hour or $40 an hour or something. So I was like, I'm trading my time for money. So I decided going into undergrad that I wanted to be a physical therapist. And so I took some of the preliminary courses in year one, like bio and chem and all that kind of stuff. And then in year two, did some like physio. I think it was this is where this transitioned, right? So I was originally going for physical therapy, and in the second year, it was the second to last semester. So it was the second year of like full on classes for physical therapy. And I'm going into the semester. The way I ended up doing it was like 3 years, but it was like started halfway through the year, so it was 3 years, and then I still had to do the semester at the end of it. So I was halfway through, and I'm in this class, and it's like biology 2 or something like that, and I'm like, you're taking something and you're converting it to something else. And I'm literally thinking, like, how the fuck does this have anything to do with physical therapy? I just, like, I didn't get it at that moment. And plus, like, I had no fucking idea what I was doing in class. Like, no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, I would just try to copy other people's work. Because at that moment, like, I didn't know how to study. Like, I didn't know what the fuck studying meant. I didn't know how to learn. To like play in that game called school, right? I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. By the way, if you want to check out how I learned how to study, like I have a video on the channel here. And it was in that class, like while I'm sitting there literally trying to do this quiz, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Like I don't remember, you had to convert things from a certain, I don't even remember what it was. You were converting something into something else. But it was a molecule or something along those lines, and carbon to something else or whatever, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and I just like, I literally didn't know what to even put down on the quiz. Like I didn't, like most of the time you can have some type of intuition to be like, oh yeah, I can put this down, right? Like it'll be semi-correct, right? None. Zero. No fucking idea. And it was that class where I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, and there's zero relevance to like the story I'm telling myself up here about being a physical therapist. So at that moment, I decided that I was going to drop that class, drop all the other classes. This is why I ended up taking that extra semester, I think it was, and go into business. And what specifically in the business, having that foundation of wanting things and not having the wherewithal or the resources to go out and buy these things. As I was a kid, I was like, well, literally, I was like, well, what do I want to do? Well, for some reason, I thought marketing was a joke. At least the classes, because I took a marketing class, and I was like, this is ridiculous. The class I thought was ridiculous. So I was like, but definitely not going to do something in marketing, although look pretty interesting what I do now. But I was like, I like money. I like what I can do with money, and I like making money. I'm gonna do finances. And I toyed back and forth with accounting and finance for a while, but I decided that I wanted to go to be like a CFO for a period of time, and a CFO seemed more prestigious in my mind than running an accounting department. At least the story I was telling myself. And then from that point on in finance, it was like I'm learning as much as I possibly can, and that shifted into running a hedge fund, which is kind of interesting, doing trading options now. But anyways, the overarching thing around this, I think, is in the past, myself and potentially you may have chosen the same way, or had just somebody, well, you should do business, or you should do this, that, and the other thing, and listen to maybe your mom or your dad or your uncle or whoever it was that told you about what it is to actually go, you know what I mean, what you should go to school for. And I don't think that at the time, 10, 20, 30 years ago, for anybody who's watching, there was a like a consciousness around how to have that conversation, right? That's just like what people did. But having the actual self-awareness and emotional intelligence to have a conversation around what somebody actually wants, I think is we're coming to a place now where I think that a lot of the people who are younger are very attuned to their own emotional intelligence, a lot more so than past generations. So to be able to have that conversation around what is important and is not important, or what is meaningful to one and what is not meaningful, I think is a very interesting and hugely positive ROI conversation to have. Anyways, that was the ending of the video, so appreciate you guys. Peace.